All right, guys. So, I wanted to continue our discussions today on natural selection and evolution. I do want to take a step back though and talk a little bit about this thing called social justice. All right. So, social justice, very important topic in today's day and age. Super important. I know you guys deal with some of this stuff at school. So let's just get right into it. Okay. Social justice and science. Here we have a pie chart. We have these are the results of a survey. Okay, so we don't need to talk about what high school it was, not in this area, but a certain high school population was given a list of offensive or stereotypical words, and they were just asked, have you ever used these words? Okay, or how often do you use these words? So I'm not going to get into every word, but a couple offensive words we have here. Cracker. Okay, so 49% of the students admitted to using the word cracker. Okay, wigger. Okay, 27% of the students admitted to using the word wigger. We have some really derogatory words here. Spick, coon, gook. Okay, very, 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 very nasty words. Okay, that we don't want to be using. But you know, when you ask somebody who's used the word spick, 21% of people said yes. Okay, so kind of an issue. You know, and it goes into, you know, we don't need to go over every single word here, but it's kind of eye-opening. Okay, and you know, the biggest word that I kind of skipped over is going to be the N-word. Okay, the classic, really racial slur. Okay, so moving forward, just a little bit of review. You know, I wanted to start out by kind of describing what's going on. You know, in our world, we have kids using these words they probably shouldn't be using. I know a lot of you guys have. A lot of you guys have probably maybe used these words. Hopefully not. But a lot of you guys have probably had to deal with your peers using the words. Maybe hearing people called by these words at lunch or whatever. Okay, and so we want to tie it back to evolution. We want to tie it back to natural selection. Okay, so this is a science class. We deal with the facts. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some things that you probably weren't aware of, but there is an evolutionary basis for why we have different skin colors. Okay, so it's not like somebody just decided to make these people dark, these people white. There's an evolutionary basis here. Okay, so just a real quick review. Like I said, we previously discussed natural selection at length. We've been going over this for a couple weeks now. How do traits evolve? Okay, so how do traits evolve? Steven, I'm going to call on you. How do traits evolve?
Do organisms survive and reproduce better?
Very good. Okay, so an organism survives, an organism reproduces. That organism had beneficial traits. Those traits are passed on to his offspring. Okay, very good, Steven. Thank you for participating. Okay, so can anyone think of an evolutionary basis for people having different skin colors? Does anybody know? No? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll get right into it. Okay. Variation in human skin color is adaptive. Okay, it is adaptive. Absolutely. Okay, these adaptive traits correlate closely with the geography and with the sun's ultraviolet radiation. Okay, so think about planet Earth. It's the shape of a sphere. Okay, so certain parts of our planet, okay, if you're at the tropics, if you're at the equator, you're going to be getting much more sunlight, okay, and this is going to entail you picking up a lot more ultraviolet radiation, okay, so UV light. I'll skip down the bottom talking about UV. So we do need UV light, okay, I know UV light kind of gets a bad rep, but it is essential. There are things, you know, UV light allows us to kind of absorb vitamin D a little bit better, okay, and that's definitely essential for us. So, in addition, we're talking a little bit about melanin. So melanin is the pigment inside your skin that turns your skin brown. Okay, so it's a brown pigment. And for, you know, melanin is kind of seen as a natural sunscreen. Okay, so a natural sunscreen. The evolutionary basis for different skin colors. Humans living near the tropics have benefited from large amounts of melanin. Okay, and if you have a large amount of melanin, you are a darker color. Okay. Humans living in colder zones have evolved a lower amount of melanin. So you hear about like Northern European, like Scandinavian, like Norwegian, just any European, like you can go to Canada, okay, people living further away from the equator, or populations that live further away from the equator, gonna have much lower levels of melanin, okay, and that's just because when you're in the sun every day, when you're at the tropics, when you're at the equator, and you're in the sun every single day, your body can take a beating by the UV, and it benefits you to have the extra melanin. It benefits you to have that because, like I said, melanin is kind of like a sunscreen.